Nerdcast assemble!
Stay dandy, baby. There's a brand new Boruto villain on the block, and she'd be really intimidating if it wasn't for the fact that she looks like a strange combination of Twilight Sparkle and Stalking from Pantheon Stalking. I actually need to take that back a little bit. Eida, the brand new cyborg villain in Boruto Naruto Next Generations, is pretty fucking horrifying. She has some very devastating abilities which are going to change the course of the entire series. She's a superpowered godlike cyborg who was scrapped by Amato years later and has now been brought out of her cryostasis to completely mess up everything for the future of the series. It's one of the many major developments in the latest chapter of Boruto, so let's go ahead and break it all down. So this chapter pretty much opens up with all of the Kages meeting with each other and trying to figure out how they're going to handle this whole Kara situation. They've been investigating all of their secret hideouts and they can't really find anything all that concrete. It's really difficult when most of their most important bases are actually in an entirely different dimension, and the fact that Sasuke is having some eye trouble, well, this is going to be sort of like a fruitless effort and they're going to have to try and figure out something else. They also discuss what's going to be going on with Boruto and Kawaki, the fact that they're going through this Otsusification, as they like to call it, and even Gaara himself mentions the danger that this is actually going to bring to the world, and if Naruto actually has the ability to bring his son down if Momoshiki ends up taking over his body. And as Naruto says in a very cold and very scary way, he'll do what he has to do as the Kage. And man, that's just devastating to actually hear, to see this potentially happen. Not to mention, they also bring up the fact that Amato is a character that they can't necessarily fully trust. And Naruto himself doesn't really 100% trust him either, but he is going to be pretty instrumental in the future. I mean, he helped out in the big battle against Ishiki, even bringing up the fact that he was really responsible for helping them and actually bringing him down and showing off his weaknesses. Not to mention, Amato is also going to be providing Naruto with this vial of medicine, which is meant to actually weaken the Byakugan abilities. It was some sort of drug that he created to try and take down Ishiki, and it makes sense because all of the Otsutsuki seem to have the Byakugan ability, and it looks like he's going to try and give this to Boruto, which is slowly going to, like, stop this transformation. It won't, like, halt it immediately, but it could give them that little extra time they need to try and figure out some sort of a plan. Of course, we also get to learn that he should not give this to both Hinata and Himawari, as, you know, they naturally have the Byakugan, so this could actually end up affecting them in a really bad way and potentially even blinding them, as Amato even says. Also, there's this little tidbit that's dropped about the fact that Amato seems to have a little bit of sympathy for Naruto and his son because his daughter, years ago, died. And that brings us immediately to the scene with Eida. I'm just going to go ahead and say it right here. It's probably really obvious. Eida is basically probably going to be based on Amato's daughter. Whether that really is her or it is a cyborg that has been created in her image, I'm believing that's actually what's going to be going on here. And we go back to the scene where Code is with that one creepy old dude who goes by the name of Bug, and they end up going into this, like, big chamber where she is, and Bug is really freaked out. He's like, look, you have to be careful. The minute she is released from this freaking prison, her abilities are going to be unleashed, and there's almost nothing you can do about it. They've been building up Code to be the next major villain of the series, but Eida honestly seems just as destructive. We have to remember that Amato has been creating these cyborgs to be on the same level as gods themselves. So Eida is definitely, I think, going to be one of the craziest characters that we've ever seen in the series, and that's made immediate by the time she actually comes out of her cage for the very first time, where basically Code just decides to claw up, rip the door open, and she slowly walks out like the super creepy Frankenstein monster that she is. And immediately Code starts to just, like, stab right through her body, and it doesn't even hurt her at freaking all. And then we get to see her secret ability, which is unleashed. And this is just one of many things that she can actually do. Ever since the last chapter, Code has made it clear that Eida is a woman who knows everything. And this is really key to her character and how she actually works. But she has this other ability, which I think is honestly just as interesting and ties directly into her backstory and possible connection with Amato, is the fact that she has the ability to steal someone's heart. Not in a Kano Mortal Kombat kind of way, but actually in the sense that she can make people fall in love with her. Basically, they just lose themselves to her, and basically they get infatuated with her on every single level. Now, this ability immediately works on Code. He immediately falls for her in this moment, and that basically gives her full control over just about everyone that she interacts with. Now, her abilities will not work on certain people. One of those people, of course, being the Otsutsuki. Now, this says a lot about the Otsutsuki themselves. Do they simply not have hearts to steel? Are they just cold, callous kind of people? Were they just plain evil alien invaders whose anatomy is completely different from that of humans? It's hard to say, but it's an interesting prospect to say the least. Now, this means a number of different things. One, if she tries to use this ability on, say, Kawaki or Boruto, it might not work as they're slowly going through the Otsusification. And two, we get to learn that this is actually something that doesn't seem to bother Eida all that much, as this ability is also something of a curse for herself, as when she's around people and they immediately fall in love with her, she never really knows if any of their intentions are truly real, even if they do genuinely seem to love her. She has had, as she said, her true sense of love taken away from her, and that's pretty devastating. Whether this was something that Amato built into her or was something that was naturally special about her remains to be seen, but it's a pretty messed up sort of part about her character, which makes her already probably the most interesting female character in the entire series. And as history would tell, female characters have not been done so well in the Naruto franchise. Again, maybe that's a debate for another day, but we also get to learn the other special thing about her ability is that she apparently has surveillance of every single thing. She's the woman who knows everything, and that's because she can listen in on anything that's going on in the world, and that's just OP as hell. Along with this ability, she can also listen in on things from the past. She can quite literally view them. However, she's not precognitive, she can't look into the future, so while she's OP, she's not insanely OP, but just the fact that she can listen in on everything, no matter where people are, is kind of insane. And I wonder if it's just like her love ability, if it's something that she can simply turn on or off. She seems to choose to listen to what she wants to, but this is a crazy ability, as at this point on, no matter what sort of strategy that our heroes come up with, she's always going to be able to listen in and kind of know what's going to be happening. So something has to be done about Eida immediately. So we get to see that in this entire conversation that Code has basically become pretty enamored with her abilities. And of course, he wants her abilities as well so that he can learn how to remove the restraints from his body so that he can become super powerful as well and go through his final transformation and becoming an Otsutsuki god. Basically, the two characters come together, they have a drink in a swanky underground extra-dimensional bar as they prepare for the next major part of the series. So what's the rundown? On this chapter of Boruto, Naruto Next Generations, Eida is scary as fuck. I don't know what it is about her character, but she's just very disturbing in the way that she actually carries herself. The fact that she can listen in on anything makes her really terrifying, and I'm imagining that since she's a cyborg that was created by Amato, she's also physically going to be one hell of a threat. We already saw how powerful Delta was, and they're building up Eida like she's the next big thing, like she could be the next super major villain of the series. It's hard to tell who the true leader in this situation is anymore. Is it Code? Is it Eida? They both seem to have their very own motives in that they want to do. Going back to Code for a second, he wants to remove the seals on his body so that he can become super powerful again, and I didn't talk about it too much in the first part of the video, but basically it all involves going back to Amato. He actually has to use his voice recognition and his eyes in order to sort of undo those abilities. So Code simply just can't use a transformation jutsu, transform into Amato, and say the code and release these things. He has to go to him specifically, and Amato has also done experimentations on his own body as well, according to Eida, where his eyes are basically robotic and they've been remade. So there's a lot more about Amato that we do not know. He is not just a normal human at all, and I can't wait to learn a little bit more about his backstory. And again, the fact that he mentioned that he had a daughter who died and they immediately start to go to the Eida stuff, and the fact that he created all these cyborgs, I mean, how is Eida not going to be his daughter? That's almost certainly what is going to be happening here. And while it is predictable and even a little cliche, I do think that it's going to make for some really interesting storytelling as we make our way further into the story. I'm not sure if it's true or not. I've heard some rumors of people saying that we're going to be getting to the time skip very, very soon. And if that's the case, pace, that's going to be insane. I kind of want to spend more time in the present before we go to the future, but still, I'm excited for all of the different things which are actually going to be happening now. There's so much promise for the future of the series, but this one certainly had a lot of drama attached to it, especially in the opening scenes of talking about Boruto and Kawaki, how they're, slowly transforming the Otsutsuki, and Naruto having to do something about it. I'm still shocked we haven't seen Sasuke for a couple of chapters, as he was hurt very bad in losing his eye, and I can't wait to see how he's actually going to recover from all of this, and how it's actually going to cripple him, because both him and Naruto have really changed since, the death of Kurama and him losing his eye. Like, major events are really starting to kick off in this series, and, the Kara arc started off kind of standard. Now it's going into a completely different and crazy direction for the series, which I think is a really great evolution. The stakes are truly raising in a way that we haven't had in a very long time, and I think it goes in line perfectly with everything that we saw at the end of the original Naruto manga series, or even the anime Naruto Shippuden. I'm just so excited for what's going to happen next. It also makes me realize that when we, if we do get a time skip very soon, I guarantee that the anime version is going to wait a little while before they get to that time skip. They're probably going to spend more time in building up the relationship between Boruto and Kawaki and everyone else. It seems like the perfect opportunity to allow the manga to come up with a lot of brand new material. Whether that's for the best or not remains to be seen, and again, it's just speculation on my part. I just can't wait to see how that's all going to go, but this was certainly a great introduction to the character of Eida, who was incredibly mysterious at the end of the last chapter, and getting to learn more about her special abilities, her dojutsu, and just the fact that she just has such a commanding presence is remarkable. It's also great to see another female villain. We've been seeing a lot more of them ever since Kaguya decided to pop up in the series, and getting to see characters like her and Delta and everything, and to see them really well developed and fleshed out is awesome. Like I said earlier in the review, I think some of the female characters in the Naruto series have been done kind of dirty, but there's certainly been some highlights in the entire series. Some of them for me personally being like Konan, and now we have Eida, which I think is really freaking awesome. Her design is a little weird. I'm not gonna lie about that. She looks not like a Naruto character at all. And again, that's good and bad in some ways. Good in the sense that it's refreshing. It doesn't look like the typical villains that we see in the typical ninja-type characters. They're getting away from that. She definitely looks like a more sci-fi kind of villain, with the color of her hair and the weird, stars and constellations that are on her clothes. She just carries a completely different feel than any other character that I think I've seen so far from Kara. And again, Kara has been really interesting in terms of their overall design and everything, so I do love that. I'm glad that we're getting something new. That's what's really important here. It doesn't seem like we're getting like any sort of a retread. And again, the artwork again in this chapter I thought was really solid. Again, I love the looks of Code and Eida. I think they look really great. It was great to spend more time with the Kages again. It's always really great to see those classic characters, and even Gaara, who again is just one of the fan favorites from the past. Whenever they appear again, it reminds you of, yeah, we have not seen these guys in quite some time. But yeah, it's pretty much Code and Eida who sort of stole this entire chapter, and going into her abilities and how scary they truly are. I can't wait to see how it's going to affect the rest of the series. As it stands, I thought this was a really great chapter, building up and introducing a brand new villain of the series, and I can't wait to see more from her. So I loved this one. It's a 5 out of 5 from me. Your thoughts may differ. You may have liked this chapter more, you may not have liked it at all, but I'd really love to get your thoughts about this one and the introduction of the character of Eida. How are her abilities going to have an effect on the future of the series? Is Naruto going to give that medicine to his son and Kawaki to stop the Otsusification process? Do you think that time skip is coming up soon? What do you want to see from the future of Boruto? Let's talk all about it. Comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. If you did like this video, make sure hit that like button. Do it right now. Helps out these videos tremendously. Ensures more people can actually see my content when they are released. I would also like to go ahead and take this time to thank all of my patrons. You guys are freaking incredible. I love that you're watching my videos and sharing with your friends, but you always go a little further beyond. You managed to make those monthly donations, and I can't thank you enough for that. It means a lot. Remember, first-time donators, I'll review an anime series of your choosing, as well as adding your name to this list of cool people that you currently see on screen. These guys right here, they're the ones who are making Ace Guru the way that it is. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.